Apparently it's the best Chinese food in San Francisco. Should we go to the parade? Hey, real quick, I just want to pop in here and just say that if you are new here and unfamiliar with why I'm so interested in Chinese food and Chinese culture, I actually lived in China for most of 2016, and I will have a bunch of videos linked down below if you're curious about what the adventure like was there. I lived in Nanjing and then I lived in Beijing. Links below, check those out. On to the video. I am actually in downtown San Francisco right now. We are in the Mission District, and the primary reason we're here is because of Mission Chinese food. This has been trending on YouTube and Yelp and everything, and apparently it's the best Chinese food in San Francisco, so we had to try it. But first, beer. Oh, and by the way, we might be going to the Chinese New Year parade afterwards too. It's a nighttime parade, so I'm very interested in it.
It was fucking
What was your favorite dish?
It's video.
censored.
It's video.
The wings. I like the wings.
Wings?
I don't know, the lamb. The lamb was good.
The lamb was
was
probably
good.
my favorite.
I like the porridge.
The porridge?
Yeah, porridge.
I really liked it. Should we go to the parade?
Let's go out.
I love the parade.
Parade! Oh my god, so many noises!
Oh my god.
I think we heard fireworks.
Wait for this video.
So exciting.
What are you gonna burn?
There's evidence of fireworks. Where are they? So cool! Creepy,
Trivia.
oh my god! It reminds me of Spirited Away. Ah, it's running! Woo! Oh, fireworks! Yes! Are they gonna be Chinese style? Oh, fire chief, everything. This is very controlled. Oh my god, there's about to be so many fireworks. I can hear them. I came for the dragon and I came for the fireworks. So cool! Yes!
It's just a lot more playful when you do that.
This is so cool! Ah! Boy, was that a crazy experience. But let's talk about the food first. Personally, I liked the food. I was highly excited by the fact that we sat there and food just kept coming and coming and coming, and Shooting ordered for the whole group, so I felt like I was back in China where like someone's just ordering dishes I've never heard of, and then they keep showing up and they keep showing up and I'm full and they keep showing up. Like, it felt amazing. It was so fun. The restaurant itself is so overwhelming inside though. First of all, the name of the restaurant is like hardly on the outside. The big name on the front is like Longshan Restaurant, but it's called Mission Chinese Food. And there's a tiny sign that says Mission Chinese Food. I don't know. Then you walk in, very overwhelming, very tightly packed, and they blast, bear with me, hip hop music. Modern hip hop, like some intense stuff like Cardi B. So it's just a very sensory overload experience. The food was delicious. Best Chinese food in San Francisco though? This is like a modern take to me on Chinese food. So obviously I don't know everything about Chinese food or all the different regions of Chinese food. There's so many kinds out there, but I do know the distinct difference between American style Chinese food and like authentic flavors of Chinese food. This definitely had the authentic flavors, but it felt modern. I don't know if it's because of the setting or if it's because of the food, or maybe because they like put pork in everything. I don't know how to describe it. But anyways, let's just talk about a couple dishes. My favorite dish was the cumin lamb. Ridiculously good. Like, fall off the bone, like melt in your mouth with a crispy layer on top. It was ridiculous. Like, super savory, not too spicy, very well balanced. It was delicious. It was worth every penny, because that dish was like $24 for 2 like slabs of that lamb. Honestly, they could charge more. My second favorite dish was probably, and I was very surprised by this, the porridge. It's rice porridge. So it's basically made with rice and water. I've never liked this food before. I don't know, they just balanced that porridge out so well. It was really good. There's also this really strange dish that was like cabbage with pistachio milk. And that was like this really yummy broth. There were a lot of herbs in a lot of these dishes, like lots of dill and basil, and there were some herbs I've never seen before. And I think that pistachio milk was flavored with a lot of herbs because the flavor was like indescribable, like something I'd never tasted before. Very like creamy tasting and savory. Very, very good. So those are probably my favorite dishes, the porridge and the lamb. The rice cakes were really good too, but I want to talk about the use of the numbing spice at that restaurant. So a lot of people who are used to American Chinese food would not be familiar with the taste of like the mala spice, the numbing spice. Basically, it's not a spicy spice, not like a fresh chili spice where it's like hot and heat in your mouth. It's almost like a cooling sensation, at least for me, and it numbs. It's very numbing. It like numbs the whole mouth. It's a weird experience if you're not used to it. Their mapo tofu, holy crap, did they go crazy on the numbing spice. I appreciate the fact that they incorporated so much of the numbing spice in their food. However, it really numbed my mouth up and it was not a super enjoyable experience. I also ate some of the chicken wings right after that, and the chicken wings were pretty heavily spiced up with the mala spice as well. And neither of them had that redeeming spiciness to it, like the chili oil. That's what I was really missing from a lot of this food, was like that ridiculous lajiang, like chili oil taste. So the mapo tofu was like definitely the most authentic I've ever tasted in America, that's for sure. So yeah, overall, I'd say I was very satisfied at that restaurant. I was very full when I left. We spent about $30 a person with tip and drinks and food, like too much food, all that stuff, which is really not bad for a nice restaurant in San Francisco. But to be honest, I don't think I'd go back to that restaurant with the number of choices that I have here, simply because the atmosphere is way too much for me. So if I were to ever go back there, I would get takeout. They actually do delivery and takeout and all that stuff. I could definitely see myself ordering some dishes for takeout from there and bringing them to like Dolores Park and sitting and eating delicious Chinese food if I'm craving it. I'll put a link down below to the Yelp page of this restaurant, just so if you are curious about trying it, you know where to find it. So after the food, we went to the Chinese New Year parade, which you saw, and I was shocked at how crazy it was. It was so fun. It was like chaotic and like loud, and the vibe was just really good. I was shocked it was a nighttime parade. I've never been to a nighttime parade except like at Disneyland, and this was amazing. It was so fun. We were there for like 30 minutes. We caught the very last 30 minutes of it. I got to watch a couple of the dragons snake through. If you follow me on Snapchat, you already saw that footage from the like light up dragon and the firecrackers. But I was really surprised at like the number of firecrackers that went off. Very typical of like Chinese New Year festivities, but America tends to be like way too overly safe about these kinds of things, which maybe it's good. But either way, I really like fireworks. And so I was stoked that the firecrackers were like in full force of the evening. It felt really crazy. It was so fun. I hope you enjoyed this crazy video. It was a super fun day out in the city. By the time you're seeing this video, I'm actually visiting family and friends in my hometown in Northwest Washington. It's a little island called Anacortes. It's in the Puget Sound. There's gonna be a video coming out of that next week. And I packed a personal item only for this trip. So I will be making a video all about how I survived that whole thing, because I was flying a budget airline and I didn't want to have to pay for a carry-on. I was like, that's stupid. I'm not doing that. And honestly, I backpacked for a week in Europe with a personal item only, so I'm not very concerned. Be sure you're following me over on Facebook so you don't miss any travel flashbacks. There's been some video clips popping up there 3 times a week. But I will see you here on YouTube in about a week. Thank you for watching. Okay, bye.